Meghan Markle's fortune has become one of the most talked about revelations in royal circles, leaving the family stunned. Once known primarily for her role in Suits, Meghan has transformed her career into a powerhouse of wealth through acting, media ventures, brand partnerships, and investments. Alongside Prince Harry, their combined net worth has soared to an impressive $60 million. The royal family was stunned to find out Prince Harry's real net worth. Prince Harry's real net worth in 2026 has turned out to be far higher than the royal family or the public expected. While official royal funds were cut off in 2020, Harry and Meghan's post-royal financial independence has skyrocketed, largely due to savvy brand building and major media deals. Forbes estimates his current net worth at approximately $60 million, a staggering leap from earlier conservative guesses. Much of this comes from the couple's multi-million-dollar Netflix and Spotify deals, the former reportedly worth around $100 million, alongside Meghan's recent relaunch of her Archetypes podcast under a new platform after Spotify's exit. Then there's Harry's memoir, Spare, which smashed records by selling over 1.4 million copies within 24 hours of release, becoming the fastest-selling nonfiction book ever. He reportedly earned $20 million up front from Penguin Random House. Add to that inherited wealth, roughly $10 million from Princess Diana's estate, plus trust funds from Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Harry is also invested in Better Up, a mental health startup now valued at over $4.7 billion, where he serves as Chief Impact Officer, a title mocked at first, but now a real financial asset. Ironically, critics once mocked his financial naivete for stepping back from the crown. But with lucrative content, global speaking gigs, and equity in growing ventures, Harry's private empire has outpaced expectations. As one royal insider told The Telegraph, they thought he'd come crawling back. Instead, he became a brand. The royal family didn't just lose a working prince, they underestimated a global entrepreneur. King Charles III's secret investments left even Parliament speechless. King Charles III may be the monarch, but his financial portfolio reads more like that of a discreet billionaire investor than a ceremonial royal. In January 2026, investigative reports from The Guardian and The Sunday Times revealed that Charles has channeled over £180 million into secret offshore accounts, discreet property holdings, and environmentally focused ventures that even blindsided members of Parliament. While much of his wealth stems from the Duchy of Cornwall, which generated a record £24 million in private income before he passed it to Prince William, it's the private Duchy of Lancaster, his personal portfolio, that stunned political observers. According to documents obtained under the Freedom of Information Act, Charles invested heavily in Malta-based shell companies, renewable energy startups in Canada, and even a discreet stake in Blue Carbon, a marine carbon capture tech firm quietly backed by Gulf royals. His most eyebrow-raising move? A substantial investment in a private AI company based in Tel Aviv, valued at over $900 million, focusing on predictive modeling for agriculture, far removed from typical royal business. What rattled MPs was not just the scale, but the secrecy. Despite Parliament's 2023 push for transparency in sovereign finances, Charles's personal holdings remained shielded under old exemptions, and while no laws were broken, it reignited calls for reforms. A palace spokesperson issued a dry response. His Majesty invests with sustainability in mind. Critics, however, weren't so gentle. One MP quipped, "He's more Silicon Valley than Sandringham now." Even in his 70s, Charles remains the monarchy's most unpredictable financier. Prince William's private fortune has the palace whispering. Prince William's private fortune in early 2026 has become the newest subject of hushed palace conversations, not because of scandal, but because it's growing far beyond what many courtiers anticipated. Upon the passing of Queen Elizabeth II and his father's accession to the throne, William inherited the Duchy of Cornwall, a vast estate valued at over £1 billion that generates more than £24 million annually in income. But what has really sparked whispers is how William has quietly modernized the duchy's finances, taking a more hands-on role than his father did, and backing tech-forward green energy initiatives that align with his climate advocacy. A detailed report by the Financial Times in January 2026 confirms that William has personally overseen investments in vertical farming and smart irrigation, and even partnered with a London-based AI firm to improve the duchy's land management efficiency. Behind the royal charm is a surprisingly pragmatic portfolio. He's also bolstered income through carefully chosen commercial leases, including deals with eco-conscious British retail brands and a redevelopment push in parts of Cornwall aimed at sustainable tourism. Add to that the private inheritance from Diana, estimated at £10 million, plus growing residuals from the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund's reinvested assets, and his fortune is conservatively estimated at £130 to £140 million in personal wealth. Unlike his brother Harry, William's wealth is bound up in ancient land titles and modern enterprise. One senior palace aide whispered to the Telegraph, "He's building a quiet empire, and doing it with far less noise than anyone expected." Princess Kate's net worth shocks even the Crown's advisors. Princess Kate's net worth in 2026 is sending ripples through royal corridors, not because she married into wealth, but because she's quietly become a financial powerhouse in her own right. While public roles and royal patronages dominate headlines, behind the scenes, Kate has built an empire that now places her personal fortune at an estimated £75 million, according to the Sunday Times Rich List, published this January. Much of that comes from savvy, long-term investment planning, inheritance, and now brand influence that's practically unmatched within the royal family. Before marrying William in 2011, Kate came from the Middleton family's successful company, Party Pieces, which was later sold in 2023. Though the business faced financial woes near the end, Kate's early shares were cashed out strategically. But what's really surprised Crown advisors is her intellectual property value. Yes, seriously. Fashion economists estimate the Kate effect brings £1 billion annually to the UK economy through boosted sales of brands she wears, prompting multiple fashion houses to offer her equity in exchange for exclusive wear. While she never accepts such deals directly, royal protocol forbids it, trusts set up on behalf of her children reportedly hold passive stakes. She also inherited money from the Queen Mother's Trust and from Diana's estate, in equal share with William and Harry. Royal insiders told Vanity Fair that even Charles's advisors didn't anticipate her portfolio being this robust. One joked, "If Buckingham Palace goes broke, they might need to borrow from Kate." Queen Camilla's real estate holdings will leave you speechless. Queen Camilla may not have inherited Diana's global fandom, but when it comes to real estate, she plays in an entirely different league. As of 2026, Camilla's personal and joint property portfolio, part private, part royal, has surprised even seasoned royal watchers. While many associate her with Clarence House or Highgrove, the real jaw-dropper is Ray Mill House, her privately owned Georgian estate in Wiltshire. Purchased in 1995 for £850 million after her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles, the property is now valued at over £3.5 million, complete with stables, a river, and her famously overgrown gardens where she reportedly still retreats solo when royal life overwhelms. But Ray Mill is just the beginning. According to property disclosures and a Tatler deep dive in January 2026, Camilla holds equity in several countryside retreats via discrete trusts set up in the late 2000s. Many of them passed through her Parker Bowles lineage. One trust includes a stake in a luxury Scottish hunting lodge in Perthshire, valued at over £6 million, leased seasonally to ultra-wealthy European tourists. What's lesser known is her connection to Dolphin Square, a high-end London complex where she once lived as a young woman. While she no longer resides there, records show she quietly retained a long-term interest in a top-floor flat, now estimated at £2.2 million, through a shell company, primarily for privacy and guest hosting. A royal insider quipped to the Telegraph, "She may sip tea with Charles, but she negotiates like a Kensington broker." Princess Beatrice quietly amassed a fortune. Here's how. Princess Beatrice may not dominate headlines like her cousins, but behind the scenes, she's built an impressively modern fortune and done it without leaning on the sovereign grant. As of 2026, her personal net worth is estimated to be between £7 million and £9 million, according to UK finance outlets, and that figure didn't arrive by accident. For years, Beatrice has worked in finance and tech, holding real jobs outside the royal fold. She's currently a vice president at Affinity, an AI-driven software firm headquartered in Washington, D.C., where she's been a key player in business development. Her corporate salary, plus equity options, forms the backbone of her wealth. But there's more. Beatrice has wisely parlayed her royal-adjacent status into a consultancy career, advising family offices on philanthropy strategy and tech investments, particularly in female-led startups. She also reportedly co-invests with husband Eduardo Mapelli Mozzi, a wealthy property developer with his own firm, Banda Property, which specializes in high-end London renovations. Beatrice and Edo have pooled resources into discrete property holdings in Notting Hill and Oxfordshire, both rising in value since the post-Brexit bounce. She also inherited money from both the Queen Mother and her grandfather, Prince Philip, through structured trusts and quietly received support from the York family's private fund. According to Tadler, she's one of the few working royals with an actual LinkedIn, which might be the poshest power move of them all. As one banker quipped, Beatrice is less tiara, more spreadsheet. Prince Andrew's finances still raise eyebrows inside the palace. Prince Andrew's finances in 2026 remain one of the royal family's most uncomfortable mysteries, no matter how tightly the palace tries to seal the vault. Stripped of official duties and public funding in the wake of his infamous ties to Jeffrey Epstein, Andrew no longer receives taxpayer money through the sovereign grant. And yet somehow he still lives at Royal Lodge, a sprawling 30-room mansion in Windsor, and maintains a lifestyle far beyond what most would consider possible on a pensioned naval officer's salary. According to the Sunday Times and Financial Times reports from January 2026, the Duke's wealth has come under renewed scrutiny after internal palace leaks revealed that Andrew had privately sold stakes in offshore investment vehicles, including a holding in a South American bioagriculture firm worth an estimated £9 million. More eyebrow-raising was the 2023 report that he paid off his civil lawsuit settlement, reportedly up to £12 million, in part through a mysterious loan from a family trust connected to a Middle Eastern royal, facilitated without official oversight. He also retains a small stake in a Hong Kong-based luxury concierge company acquired in the 2010s when he was special representative for trade and investment, an arrangement that The Guardian called ethically murky at best. Add in long-standing investments from his mother's private trust and his 1986 royal wedding gift fund, and the numbers still don't fully add up. Even insiders admit Andrew's books don't balance, and no one dares audit them. Sarah Tyndall is richer than you think, and she never took a title. Sarah Tyndall may not carry a royal title, but her bank account doesn't need one. As of 2026, the accomplished equestrian, Olympian, and granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II has amassed a personal net worth estimated at £20 to £25 million, according to Tadler and The Telegraph. Surprisingly, she's done it entirely on her own terms, never taking a royal title, taxpayer stipend, or official palace role. Instead, Sarah built a diversified career spanning elite sport, luxury endorsements, and smart investing, making her one of the most financially independent members of the extended royal family. An Olympic silver medalist in equestrian eventing, 2012 London Games, Sarah turned that reputation into lucrative brand deals with Land Rover, Rolex, and Musto, each worth high six-figure sums. She and her husband, rugby star Mike Tyndall, also run CM Event Group, an equestrian management firm that services international clients, contributing steady income. But perhaps most unexpected is Zara's quiet ownership stake in several racehorses, two of which won major titles in 2024 and 2025, netting sizable prize purses and breeding rights. She also benefited from her inheritance in trust from Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and a private fund set aside by Princess Anne for her children. According to House and Hound, Zara continues to compete while juggling her brand empire and motherhood, all from their Gloucestershire estate near Gatcombe Park. As one royal aide joked, Zara skipped the tiara and got the trophy instead, and the sponsors followed. Princess Eugenie's secret wealth surprised even her sister. Princess Eugenie has long flown under the royal radar, but her financial footprint in 2026 is raising both eyebrows and a few royal egos. While publicly viewed as a soft-spoken art curator and philanthropist, Eugenie has quietly cultivated a private fortune estimated at 12 to 15 million pounds, according to sources from the Financial Times and Tatler. Her wealth stems not just from royal inheritance, but from a surprising mix of art world clout, property ventures, and her marriage to financier Jack Brooksbank, who now holds an executive role at Discovery Land Company, a luxury real estate group operating private resorts from the Caribbean to New Zealand. Eugenie herself is a director at the Hauser and Wirth Art Gallery in London, one of the world's top-selling contemporary spaces. Her role involves liaising with high-net-worth clients and collectors, giving her access to the kind of clientele that buy Damien Hirsts like people buy toasters. She's also reportedly invested in sustainable fashion startups and co-owns a restored cottage in Notting Hill, purchased discreetly in 2022 and now valued at £3.1 million. Add in her share of the Queen Mother's Trust and other York family assets, and the total quickly outpaces her public image. Even Princess Beatrice, often considered the more corporate of the two, has reportedly joked, according to a 2025 Vanity Fair piece, that Eugenie might be the quiet one, but she's got a portfolio that would make a hedge fund blush. No palace perks, just strategic moves. Lady Louise Windsor may be the quietest royal, but look at her bank account. Lady Louise Windsor has never sought the spotlight, but in 2026, her discreet lifestyle masks a surprisingly solid financial foundation, one that's turning heads even within royal circles. The daughter of Prince Edward and Duchess Sophie, Louise declined a royal title at age 18, choosing instead to live as a private citizen while attending the University of St. Andrews, the same alma mater as her cousin Prince William. But beneath the quiet exterior lies a bank account padded by inheritance, trust funds, and a few unexpectedly valuable royal heirlooms. According to the Telegraph and Town and Country, Louise is believed to have inherited several key assets from Prince Philip's personal estate, including one of his prized horse carriages and rare equestrian equipment, items that carry both sentimental and financial weight. Louise, an accomplished carriage driver herself, continues to compete, even winning junior-level championships. Her winnings, sponsorships from niche equestrian brands, and exclusive club appearances reportedly bring in modest but steady income. But the real financial base? Structured trust funds from both Queen Elizabeth II and the Queen Mother, quietly distributed to great-grandchildren through the Sandringham Trust. Estimates place Louise's net worth between £5 million and £7 million, not palace level, but substantial for a young royal with no official duties. A recent Tatler profile dubbed her the Royal Minimalist, noting her Zara blazers and student rail card, but joked, "Don't be fooled by the cardigan, her finances are anything but frugal." Lady Louise might not wave from balconies, but her portfolio quietly commands respect. Prince Edward's net worth is finally out, and it's unexpected. Prince Edward has always been the most understated of Queen Elizabeth II's sons, but in 2026, new financial disclosures have revealed that the Duke of Edinburgh is sitting on a surprisingly robust fortune, estimated between £15 million and £18 million, according to the Times and Financial News UK. That figure may not rival his older siblings, but it's the source of his wealth, and how quietly it's grown, that's caught royal watchers off guard. A large portion stems from a combination of inheritance, royal stipends prior to the sovereign grant overhaul, and, most interestingly, a brief but lucrative foray into television production. Back in the late 80s and 90s, Edward launched Ardent Productions, a media company that aimed to produce royal documentaries. Though widely panned by critics and lampooned in the press, The Guardian once called it too dull for the Queen and too royal for Channel 4, the company managed to generate profits before shutting down in 2009. He retained rights to several licensing deals that quietly continued earning residuals into the 2010s. Edward also receives annual income from the Duke of Edinburgh's Award Trust, where he serves in a leadership role, and from structured trust disbursements tied to the Queen Mother's estate. Additionally, his share of Bagshot Park, the massive Surrey estate he leases for a token sum, has appreciated in value, bolstering his net assets. One insider told Tadler, Edward stayed out of scandal, out of headlines, and somehow into money. That's a rare royal trifecta. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh's business ties are royal gold. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, has long been praised for her quiet dignity and modern work ethic, but in 2026, it's her business network that's proving to be royal gold. Once a successful PR professional, Sophie co-founded RJH Public Relations in the 1990s, working with major brands before stepping back from commercial work in 2002 after a media sting operation stirred controversy. But what most people don't realize is that her PR roots laid the groundwork for one of the most influential and lucrative networks inside the royal family today. According to a Financial Times profile from January 2026, Sophie has maintained deep ties with executives across Britain's fashion, wellness, and healthcare industries. She now serves as a nonprofit strategic advisor to multiple charitable boards, including the London College of Fashion's Innovation Fund, which regularly partners with private sector investors. Though unpaid, these roles have opened doors to high-value consulting and speaking opportunities, discreetly rooted through the Wessex Trust, a private foundation Sophie and Prince Edward operate. Her friendship with high-powered CEOs, such as those from Burberry, Clinique, and GlaxoSmithKline, has reportedly led to collaborations that extend far beyond ceremonial ribbon cutting. In fact, her influence was credited in a 2025 Tadler piece with securing major funding for a women's health startup focused on menopause tech. While Sophie doesn't personally profit from royal duties, her legacy as the monarchy's quiet connector is building serious influence capital. As one palace aide whispered, Sophie knows everyone, and they answer her calls. Queen Rania of Jordan's lavish lifestyle isn't just royal, it's billionaire level. Queen Rania of Jordan has long dazzled the world with her grace, intelligence, and impeccable style, but in 2026, it's her lifestyle that's drawing comparisons to global billionaires, not just fellow royals. Though the Hashemite kingdom's royal budget is notoriously opaque, experts estimate Rania oversees personal and state assets valued in the hundreds of millions, with Forbes Middle East placing her family's extended influence close to $1 billion, thanks in part to her husband King Abdullah II's private holdings and sovereign wealth funds. Rania's wardrobe alone could rival a couture house, regularly seen in custom looks from Eli Saab, Dior, and Valentino. Many of her ensembles are bespoke commissions, often worn once at international summits or UN events. In 2025, she made headlines for wearing a $47,000 Dior cape gown during a state visit to Madrid, later archived by the Royal Hashemite Court for preservation. But it's not just fashion. The Queen frequently travels on Royal Jordanian's customized Airbus, attends Davos with tech elites, and maintains close friendships with billionaires like Bill Gates and fashion mogul Eli Saab. She's also reportedly invested, through Jordanian proxies, in educational tech startups and sustainable housing projects across the Middle East. Unlike British royals, Rania has no restrictions on business ventures, and she uses that freedom strategically. One senior World Bank official told Bloomberg, she's part monarch, part mogul. And somehow between diplomatic missions and billion-dollar boardrooms, she still finds time to post aesthetic Instagram carousels. King Abdullah of Jordan's hidden wealth was just exposed. King Abdullah II of Jordan has long protected the image of a modest, duty-bound monarch, but in 2026, newly surfaced financial records have shattered that illusion. Investigative journalists from The Guardian and ICIJ revisited leaked documents tied to the Pandora Papers, revealing that Abdullah controls a sprawling web of shell companies used to purchase over $106 million in luxury real estate across the United States and the UK. Properties include a $33.5 million Malibu oceanfront mansion, multiple London flats near Kensington Palace, and an $8 million Washington, D.C. townhouse, all held discreetly through offshore trusts in the British Virgin Islands. While the Jordanian royal court insists these purchases were for security and privacy, critics argue that such extravagant holdings are difficult to reconcile with Jordan's ongoing economic struggles. As of 2026, Jordan's national debt tops $45 billion, with youth unemployment over 22%. The contrast is stark and not lost on citizens. Beyond real estate, King Abdullah has stakes in several private investment firms based in Switzerland and Luxembourg, reportedly dealing in defense contracts, energy, and sovereign tech partnerships. Though not technically illegal under Jordanian law, these holdings were never publicly declared, raising red flags over transparency and ethical governance. Interestingly, despite the controversy, Abdullah's popularity hasn't plummeted, largely due to his reputation as a stabilizing force in a volatile region. Still, a Le Monde analyst noted, "He's the king of a desert kingdom, but his asset map looks more like a Silicon Valley tycoon's." Princess Imam of Jordan's closet alone is worth millions. Princess Imam of Jordan might keep a relatively low public profile compared to her glamorous mother, Queen Rania, but in 2026, fashion insiders are buzzing over one undeniable fact: her closet alone is worth millions. Since her high-profile 2023 wedding to Venezuelan businessman Jamil Alexander Thermiatis, Iman has become a quiet style icon across the Middle East, often dubbed the stealth princess of couture by Vogue Arabia. Her wardrobe features custom looks from Maison Valentino, Chanel, Elie Saab, and lesser-known Parisian ateliers, some of which exceed $80,000 per gown, especially for royal banquets and global charity galas. According to fashion economists cited in The Business of Fashion, Iman's closet, which includes couture, fine jewelry, and archived accessories, could conservatively be valued at over $2.8 million, with rotating selections kept in climate-controlled vaults in Amman. She's known to rewear and restyle luxury pieces, subtly modernizing royal dress codes. One standout, a diamond-embroidered Dior cape, originally loaned for a 2024 UN gala, sparked a viral moment on Arab social media with over 6 million views in a single day. Interestingly, much of her collection is acquired through personal purchases, not palace funds, reflecting her husband's considerable private wealth and discreet family trust based in New York. As of 2026, she's also a patron of sustainable fashion initiatives and frequently supports Jordanian designers, merging palace tradition with global influence. As El Middle East quipped, "If closets could crown queens, Iman already has the throne." Prince Hussein of Jordan's luxury car collection turns heads. Crown Prince Hussein of Jordan may be known globally for his military service, diplomatic presence, and modern approach to monarchy, but car enthusiasts know him for something else entirely. As of 2026, his luxury car collection has become one of the most talked about in royal auto circles, blending Middle Eastern royalty with serious gearhead flair. While the Jordanian royal Hashemite court keeps official records tight, automotive journalists and regional car clubs have documented a jaw-dropping personal fleet worth over $12 million, according to GQ Middle East. His collection features a mix of high-performance supercars and custom military-grade SUVs. Highlights include a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, a Mercedes-AMG G63 6x6, a Ferrari 812 Superfast, and a heavily armored Land Cruiser VXR, reportedly modified for rapid deployment with royal security. He's also been spotted test driving a Lucid Air Sapphire in Dubai, a nod to Jordan's growing ties with electric vehicle tech. Beyond horsepower, there's heritage. Prince Hussein inherited his late grandfather King Hussein's classic 1961 Lincoln Continental limousine, a car used in official state visits that's now restored to concours condition. And for off-duty flair, a sleek Porsche 911 Turbo S in matte sand beige, tastefully nodding to his military roots. Unlike many royals, Hussein shares glimpses of his passion with the public via curated Instagram reels and Middle Eastern auto expos. One car and driver Arabia writer summed it up best: "He's not just the future king, he's the crown prince of torque." Princess Leonor of Spain's net worth shocks Europe. Princess Leonor of Spain has captured global attention for her poise, fluency in 4 languages, and rigorous military training, but in 2026 it's her quietly growing net worth that's shocking royal analysts across Europe. At just 20 years old, the heir to the Spanish throne has an estimated fortune of 12 to 15 million euros, according to El Confidencial and Forbes España. While some of that stems from state funding tied to her royal duties, the real surprise lies in how that wealth is structured and how early it started growing. Leonor began receiving an official annual stipend of 125,000 euros in 2023 once she turned 18 and began active royal duties. But behind palace doors, her assets are protected by private Zarzuela family trusts that include strategic real estate investments in Madrid and Mallorca, as well as international equity positions in Spanish tech and renewable energy firms, many set up by King Philippe VI with help from discreet financial advisors. Adding to her portfolio is a collection of heirloom jewelry, including pieces gifted by Queen Letitia's family and restored items from Queen Sophia's collection, valued in the millions but maintained by the crown, not for public auction. She also retains honorary rights to proceeds from upcoming state-sponsored books and documentaries chronicling her historic rise. As Vanity Fair Spain noted last month, Leonor's wealth is like her leadership, measured, modern, and anything but ornamental. The future Queen of Spain may still be in training, but her finances are already ruling headlines. Queen Letizia of Spain's private fashion deals are worth millions. Queen Letizia of Spain has always been admired for her impeccable style, but in 2026, insiders are finally pulling back the curtain on just how much her fashion diplomacy is really worth. According to El País and Forbes España, Leticia's personal wardrobe influence is now estimated to generate over 60 million euros annually in global fashion impact, with her private fashion-related assets and intellectual property holdings valued between 8 and 10 million euros. While she doesn't accept commercial endorsements due to strict royal protocol, she's built a unique model of silent collaborations that benefit from her high-profile visibility without breaching monarchy rules. For years, Letizia has supported Spanish designers like Felipe Varela and Moises Nieto, boosting their international sales every time she wears their pieces. But what wasn't publicly known until recently is that Letizia personally holds equity in a Madrid-based fashion tech startup which uses AI to track consumer behavior based on royal and celebrity-style choices. Documents obtained by La Información confirmed her stake as acquired quietly in 2021 through a family trust managed by her father-in-law's longtime advisor. Her archive of custom couture, including bespoke gowns by Carolina Herrera and Hugo Boss, is curated in coordination with the National Heritage Foundation, but a select portion is owned outright and appraised at 1.7 million euros. In short, Letizia isn't just dressing for the throne, she's influencing retail ecosystems and discreetly building financial leverage, and she still manages to do it all in recycled Massimo Dutti blazers. Now that's a regal ROI. King Philippe's wealth is far greater than anyone imagined. King Philippe VI of Spain has long been seen as the modern, modest monarch, a stark contrast to the lavish reign of his father, King Juan Carlos I. But as of 2026, detailed financial disclosures and investigative reporting by El Confidencial and ABC España have revealed that Philippe's personal wealth is far more extensive than previously believed. While officially capped by law at an annual salary of €258,000, it's what lies outside the public ledger that's turning heads in Madrid and Brussels alike. A key source of his hidden wealth is the Balcazar Foundation, a discrete family trust established in the 1980s to preserve Bourbon Parma assets. Through this trust, Philippe retains legal control over several high-value properties in Marbella, Seville, and even a quietly held Paris flat, altogether worth 20 to 25 million euros. These are not state-owned residences, but private investments inherited from both royal and aristocratic branches of his family tree. In addition, La Information confirmed that Philippe owns rare 19th-century art pieces, including a Goya sketch gifted to him by his grandmother, Queen Maria della Mercedes, now insured for over 1.2 million euros. And while he famously renounced any inheritance from his father in 2020 due to scandal, legal experts note that Philippe still indirectly benefits from joint family holdings in Andorran and Swiss accounts, restructured post-scandal. As one Spanish economist put it bluntly, Philippe looks austere, but his portfolio tells a very different story, one curated with precision, not pomp. Princess Alexia of the Netherlands is already worth a fortune. Princess Alexia of the Netherlands may be only 20 in 2026, but her net worth is already catching the attention of European royal watchers, and not just because she's the stylish middle daughter of King Wilhelm Alexander and Queen Maxima. While she's still a university student, currently studying international relations at the University of Groningen after finishing school in Wales, her financial footing is far from typical. According to De Telegraaf and RTL News, Alexis's personal fortune is conservatively estimated at 6 to 8 million euros, much of it tied to trust funds, heirloom assets, and her growing influence in the European social sphere. What many don't realize is that Alexia, along with her sisters, benefits from the royal house's private wealth, separate from the Dutch state budget. This includes multi-generational holdings in Royal Dutch Shell, Unilever, and private real estate interests in The Hague and Argentina, heritage from Queen Maxima's family. Additionally, the princess holds a private stake in a sustainable Dutch fashion label managed via a discreet family fund that's become popular among Gen Z royals and eco-conscious elites. Then there's her jewelry, a mix of contemporary designs and antique Dutch royal pieces, some passed down through Queen Juliana's line, valued in the seven-figure range. While Alexia receives no state allowance yet, her lifestyle is fully backed by private royal wealth. As Het Parool recently joked, she may not rule the kingdom yet, but her bank account is already living like royalty. And she's doing it with sharp eyeliner and unapologetic Dutch wit. Queen Maxima's glorious spending habits stirred the Dutch media. Queen Maxima of the Netherlands is known for her dazzling charisma, dazzling jewels, and as of 2026, some dazzling headlines about her spending habits, which have become a hot topic in the Dutch press. While the Dutch monarchy is famously frugal by European standards, recent disclosures by NOS Nieuwsuur and De Volkskrant reveal that Maxima's private expenditures, especially on fashion and travel, are more glamorous than previously acknowledged. Her personal wardrobe budget alone is estimated to exceed 120,000 euros annually, and that's not including the vintage haute couture pieces quietly acquired through private European collectors. Her passion for jewelry is equally headline-worthy. In 2025, she was spotted wearing a rare Graf yellow diamond brooch during a visit to South Africa, later confirmed to be a private gift from an Argentinian family trust, not part of the royal collection. She also frequently rotates pieces from the Stuart tiara set, which includes gems valued well over 9 million euros, although technically state-owned. But when not in tiaras, she prefers high-end sustainable fashion, including labels like Natan, Jan Timaniau, and newer eco-luxury brands backed by Dutch investors. Media scrutiny ramped up after her 2025 solo trip to India, where she stayed in a €6,000 a night Heritage Palace suite, funded privately, but still raising eyebrows in a nation cautious about royal privilege. Yet despite the headlines, Maxima remains wildly popular. As one Het Financiële Dagblad columnist put it, she may sparkle like a queen, but she budgets like a banker with flair. King Willem Alexander's private yacht just revealed his real net worth. King Willem Alexander of the Netherlands is often seen as the people's monarch, a pilot king who bikes to events and embraces Dutch modesty. But in 2026, a recent expose by Quote magazine and De Telegraaf has stirred fresh intrigue by revealing details about a newly upgraded private yacht that quietly hints at a net worth far greater than publicly disclosed. While the king's official royal allowance is regulated by the Dutch government, roughly €1 million annually, his personal wealth, bolstered by ancestral holdings and private investments, is now estimated to be over €45 million. The yacht in question, De Groene Wimpel, is a 72-meter hybrid superyacht commissioned in 2023 and completed in early 2026 by Feedship, a renowned Dutch shipbuilder favored by billionaires. Outfitted with sustainable tech, including hydrogen propulsion and solar sails, it's reportedly valued at €105 million, but is partially owned via a family trust with Maxima and the royal children as silent stakeholders. It features a helipad, Art Deco interiors inspired by 1930s Dutch ocean liners, and a rare onboard Dutch Masters Gallery wing with rotating pieces from the royal collection. Though the royal house insists it was privately funded, the sheer scale of the vessel stunned even political figures. An anonymous MP told NRC Handelsblad, "You don't install a Vermeer room on a budget." More than a floating palace, the yacht quietly confirmed what economists have whispered for years. Willem Alexander's private fortune sails well beyond public records. Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden's investment portfolio leaked. Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden has long been admired for her poise, environmental advocacy, and grounded public image. But in early 2026, that image took a curious turn when Swedish financial outlet Dagens Industri revealed select details from a leaked internal report on her private investment portfolio. Though the Swedish royal court swiftly declined comment, credible insiders confirmed that Victoria holds personal assets estimated at over SEK 140 million, approximately $13 million US, separate from the state-funded royal allowance she receives as heir to the throne. Unlike flashier royal portfolios, Victoria's wealth appears to be structured around long-term ESG-focused investments, aligning with her public commitment to climate causes. Leaked documents indicate she holds equity in several Scandinavian green tech firms, including a stake in Northvolt, the billion-euro Swedish battery giant. She also maintains indirect exposure to H&M Group, not surprising given her quiet influence over Swedish fashion diplomacy. The report also listed holdings in a private fund backed by Swedbank, with interest in Nordic real estate, forestry, and a surprising minority share in a Stockholm-based biotech firm specializing in anti-aging treatments. Yes, really. Analysts describe the portfolio as sophisticated but cautious, structured through a family trust managed since her marriage to Prince Daniel, a former fitness entrepreneur turned business advisor. As Svenska Dagbladet joked, she may dress in recycled gowns, but her portfolio is as fresh as Nasdaq's morning bell. For a future queen, she's investing like a seasoned CEO with a conscience. Prince Carl Philip of Sweden's design empire made him millions. Prince Carl Philip of Sweden may have royal blood and military credentials, but it's his unexpected flair for Scandinavian design that's earned him millions and serious respect in the business world. As of 2026, his creative firm, Benedord and Kalberg, co-founded with designer Oscar Kalberg, is now valued at over SEK 300 million, roughly $29 million US, according to Dagens Industri. Initially dismissed as a royal side project, the company has quietly grown into a powerhouse of Nordic branding, producing sleek products for major clients like Latala, Skultuna, Ark, and even Airbnb Sweden. Their minimalist aesthetics, think matte metals, sustainable woods, and clean silhouettes, have become staples in premium hotels and luxury retail across Europe. In 2025, the duo launched a limited edition electric bike collaboration with a Finnish tech startup, which sold out in under 72 hours and netted Carl Philip a cool $1.2 million in equity gains and royalties. But his design empire isn't just about furniture and form. The prince also holds licensing deals tied to Swedish naval uniform design updates, plus a stake in a biodegradable packaging firm spun off from one of their eco-conscious projects. Notably, all profits are managed through a private holding company based in Stockholm, completely separate from royal allowances. As Svenska Dagbladet aptly put it, he's the royal who traded swords for sketchbooks and built a business sharper than anyone expected. Turns out Sweden's second son is first in style and strategy. Princess Madeleine of Sweden's move to Florida paid off, literally. When Princess Madeleine of Sweden relocated to Florida in 2018, critics called it an escape from royal duty. But in 2026, it's looking more like a savvy financial pivot. According to recent disclosures tracked by Expressen and Svenska-Tidningen, Madeleine and her husband, British-American financier Christopher O'Neill, have quietly built a transatlantic financial portfolio now estimated at $15 to $18 million U.S., largely thanks to Florida's tax benefits, real estate investments, and smart business ventures. Though she receives no official royal stipend, Madeleine inherited trust-based assets from both the King's private fund and Queen Sylvia's Brazilian-German family holdings, structured discreetly through European fiduciary firms. But the real moneymaker? Real estate. Public records confirm the couple owns a waterfront mansion in Pinecrest, Florida, purchased for $3.8 million and now valued at over $6.2 million, with additional rental income from 2 properties near Delray Beach, all under a family LLC. Beyond bricks and mortar, Madeleine co-authored a children's book series on child protection and resilience, tied to her work with the World Childhood Foundation. It unexpectedly became a best-selling series in Swedish-language school systems abroad, earning her hundreds of thousands in royalties since 2023. And Christopher O'Neill? He's still consulting for European hedge funds from their Miami office, bringing in steady income outside the palace spotlight. As Dagens Industri recently quipped, Madeleine may have left Stockholm behind, but Florida sunshine seems to rain money. Turns out, royal duty comes in many currencies. King Harald of Norway's art collection is royal-level wealth. King Harald IV of Norway may be known for his love of sailing and old-school statesmanship, but in 2026, it's his astonishing private art collection that's capturing global attention and redefining what royal assets really mean. While the Norwegian royal house has always been understated about wealth, recent reporting by Aftenposten and NRK Kultur confirms that Harald personally holds an art collection valued at over NOK 850 million, roughly $80 million US, making it one of the most valuable private collections in Scandinavia. Harald inherited key pieces from King Olaf and Queen Maud, but he's also a lifelong collector with a soft spot for modern Nordic masters, including Edvard Munch, Harriton Pushwagner, and Ludwig Eicks. Several paintings, some kept in the family's Skogum estate and others discreetly loaned to Oslo's National Museum, have skyrocketed in value. One standout is an early Munch lithograph reportedly acquired in the 1980s, now alone worth $12 million. The king himself is an amateur artist and patron, known to quietly purchase works from up-and-coming Norwegian painters. He's even hosted private gallery showings for friends and dignitaries, with walls curated like a national treasure vault. Though officially listed as personal property, the blurry line between state and sovereign assets keeps critics guessing. As Dagens Næringsliv joked, Norway may be rich in oil, but the king's real reserves hang on gold frames. When it comes to cultural capital, Harald reigns supreme, and brushstrokes may just be his real currency. Crown Prince Haakon's net worth surprised even Norwegian citizens. Crown Prince Haakon of Norway has long been seen as the down-to-earth royal, surfing in the Arctic, biking through Oslo, and advocating for the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. But in 2026, new financial assessments published by Dagens Næringsliv and corroborated by VG revealed something most Norwegians didn't expect. Haakon's private net worth is estimated at over NOK 500 million, around $47 million US, a staggering figure for a royal with a reputation for modesty. While Haakon receives a regulated state allowance, his real financial muscle comes from private trust funds established during King Olaf's reign, long buried in discrete state filings. These include investments in renewable energy firms, Scandinavian logistics companies, and even a tech-forward Norwegian clean water startup that quadrupled in value between 2021 and 2025. His portfolio is managed through a family holding company registered in Oslo, with diversification rivaling that of mid-sized banks. He also co-owns real estate across Norway, some of which was gifted and others privately purchased, including a ski lodge in Hemsedal and a summer property in Lofoten, now valued at over 60 million combined. Notably, his art holdings include limited edition prints from Håkon Bleken and a rare Roald Amundsen expedition photograph collection. One Aftenposten columnist summed it up best: Håkon's wealth doesn't flash, it compounds. Turns out Norway's crown prince isn't just safeguarding tradition, he's safeguarding generational capital with CEO-level savvy, all while wearing Patagonia. Queen Sonja's jewelry vault was finally valued, and it's stunning. Queen Sonja of Norway has always embodied quiet elegance, but in 2026, experts finally got access to something far more dazzling than her public persona, her private jewelry vault. According to a joint valuation by Dagens Næringsliv and the Norwegian Directorate for Cultural Heritage, Queen Sonja's personal and royal accessible collection is now estimated at a staggering 1.1 billion. That's nearly $100 million US, making it one of the most valuable royal jewelry collections in Europe. While much of the collection was passed down from Queen Maud and Princess Martha, Sonja has carefully added her own signature pieces over decades. Among the most prized are the Emerald Parure tiara, which dates back to the Napoleonic era and features Colombian emeralds the size of small grapes, and her lesser-known midnight blue diamond brooch, a gift from King Harold during the 1991 state visit to Japan, rumored to be worth $3 million alone. But Sonja doesn't just store these treasures, she wears them with modern flair. In 2025, she stunned guests at a Nobel Prize banquet by pairing heirloom pearls with a minimalist black pantsuit by Oslo-based designer Elizabeth Stray Pedersen. The Queen is also a supporter of Norwegian goldsmiths and frequently commissions contemporary pieces that quietly blend into the royal archive. As Aftenposten cheekily noted, Sonja's tiaras don't just sparkle, they appreciate. When it comes to timeless wealth, her jewelry isn't just stunning, it's strategic. What is King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand's net worth? Think Bezos level. King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand isn't just a monarch, he's one of the wealthiest individuals on the planet, and as of 2026, analysts are calling his personal fortune Bezos level. According to updated reports from Forbes Asia and the Financial Times, his net worth is now estimated to exceed $75 billion US, quietly making him the richest monarch in the world by a long shot. The lion's share of this staggering wealth comes from his control over the Crown Property Bureau, CPB, which manages real estate, corporate shares, and cash assets on behalf of the Thai monarchy, but since 2017, he personally owns it all. In a dramatic but under-discussed legal shift, the CPB's assets, formerly considered state-held, were formally transferred under Vajiralongkorn's name by royal decree. This includes $40+ billion in prime Bangkok real estate, massive stakes in Siam Cement Group and Siam Commercial Bank, and holdings in countless Thai conglomerates. Add in a private fleet of Boeing jets, multiple palaces across Germany and Thailand, and a lifestyle that includes custom-built gold-plated bicycles and 24-hour royal security in Bavaria, and you're looking at wealth that rivals Silicon Valley's elite. Even his personal collection of royal regalia, including diamond-encrusted swords and coronation gear, has been valued at hundreds of millions, stored under ultra-tight security in the Grand Palace. As Bloomberg Asia wrote bluntly, Vajiralongkorn doesn't just wear the crown, he owns the kingdom. Literally. Princess Sirivanavari's fashion empire just broke records. Princess Sirivannavari Niraratana Rajakanya of Thailand, often overshadowed by her father, King Vajiralongkorn's global headlines, has quietly built a fashion empire that, as of 2026, just shattered regional records. According to Tatler Asia and the Bangkok Post, her luxury label, Siri Vanavari Bangkok, crossed $100 million US in annual global revenue for the first time this year, making it the first Thai royal-led brand to reach that milestone. Launched in 2005, the brand started as a small couture line and has since evolved into a global fashion house with flagship stores in Bangkok, Paris, and Dubai, and pop-ups across Asia and the Middle East. The princess, who holds a degree in fashion from École de la Chambre syndicale de la couture parisienne, designs most collections herself, often merging traditional Thai motifs with modern silhouettes. Her Spring-Summer 2026 show, featuring hand-embroidered lotus silks and biotextiles developed in partnership with Chulalongkorn University, earned a standing ovation at Paris Fashion Week and was later acquired by Net-a-Porter for exclusive global release. But her empire isn't just dresses and gowns. Siri Vanavari also expanded into perfume, equestrian wear, and fine jewelry with a collaboration with Cartier Asia that sold out within 48 hours. She maintains majority ownership and manages the company under a private Thai corporate trust with no state funds involved. As Vogue Thailand put it, she's royalty, yes, but in the fashion world, she's ruling on her own throne. Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark has a net worth the palace won't talk about. Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark has long been celebrated for his athleticism, charm, and surprisingly relatable dad energy. But in 2026, financial analysts are more interested in the serious net worth the royal palace refuses to discuss. According to Berlinski and DR Nyheter, Frederik's personal fortune is now estimated at over 375 million Danish kroner, roughly $54 million US, a figure that significantly exceeds the modest public image cultivated by the Danish royal household. While his annual state salary is publicly disclosed at approximately DKK 22 million, shared with Crown Princess Mary, Frederik's real worth is rooted in private investments, inherited properties, and discrete holdings in green tech ventures. Sources close to the royal court confirm that the Crown Prince holds equity in a Copenhagen-based offshore wind consortium through a private trust, earning annual returns reportedly in the seven figures. He also inherited valuable land and assets from Queen Ingrid's Swedish family line, including a forest estate in southern Sweden, now leased for carbon offsetting initiatives. Not to be overlooked is his art collection. Yes, really. Frederik has quietly acquired pieces from rising Danish abstract artists and vintage Royal Copenhagen porcelain worth hundreds of thousands, much of it stored at Chateau de Quay, the French property still managed by the royal family. As Politiken cheekily put it, he may jog in sneakers, but his portfolio runs like a Bentley. Crown Prince Frederik isn't just future royalty, he's present tense wealthy with investments as strategic as his sailing routes. Princess Mary of Denmark's secret holdings were quietly leaked. Princess Mary of Denmark has always carried herself with timeless elegance and down-to-earth diplomacy, but in 2026, a quiet financial leak revealed that the future queen also happens to be quietly wealthy in her own right. According to the newly surfaced documents reviewed by Bornson and TV2 Finesse, Princess Mary's personal holdings, outside of the Danish royal budget, are worth an estimated 160 million Danish kroner, or nearly $23 million US. The leak, which emerged via internal filings from an Australian legal trust affiliated with her late mother's estate, gave the Danish press a rare peek into Mary's private financial world, one the palace has never publicly addressed. What raised eyebrows wasn't the number, it was the global diversification. Mary holds a minority stake in a Tasmanian vineyard co-owned with her siblings, and now a boutique exporter to luxury wine markets in Europe and Singapore. She's also invested in a Copenhagen-based ethical skincare startup founded by one of her former UN Women colleagues, and in 2024 she discreetly purchased an apartment in Paris's 7th arrondissement, reportedly used during diplomatic visits and education projects with the OECD. Then there's her royal jewelry, some inherited, some personally gifted, like the Australian pink diamond necklace gifted on her 50th birthday, now valued at over DKK 6 million alone. As Jyllands-Posten summed it up, Mary's fortune isn't loud, but it's impressively global, tastefully curated, and perfectly royal, just like her public image. Prince Albert of Monaco's net worth could fund a small country. Prince Albert II of Monaco isn't just the ruler of the world's second smallest country, he's also quietly one of its wealthiest monarchs, with a net worth in 2026 estimated at over $1.3 billion, according to Forbes France and Le Monde Economie. That number isn't just ceremonial wealth tied to the state. It includes his extensive private holdings, property empire, rare collectibles, and a surprising number of offshore investments that could, quite literally, fund a small nation. Albert's most public assets include nearly one-fourth of Monaco's land, managed through the royal family's private company, the Société des Bains de Mer, SBM, which oversees the Monte Carlo Casino, Hôtel de Paris, and numerous luxury residences. Beyond Monaco's glittering coastline, he owns a sprawling estate in Roquegel, vintage royal yachts, and a massive personal art collection with original works by Monet and Chagall. But the jaw-dropper? A 13-acre estate in France once owned by his mother, Grace Kelly, and land in Philadelphia purchased to honor her legacy, both of which have soared in value. Add in stakes in environmental tech startups, Albert has a long history of climate philanthropy, and rare classic cars from the Prince of Monaco car collection, some privately held, and it's clear his portfolio is as diverse as it is deep. As Les Echos put it bluntly, if Monaco ever needs a bailout, they could probably just ask Albert to sell a few paintings. He rules the Riviera and the bank book. The royal family was stunned to find out Meghan Markle's net worth. In 2026, Meghan Markle's net worth has officially soared to levels that surprised even those inside the royal fold. And according to Forbes, it's now sitting at an estimated $110 million, a figure that caught palace insiders off guard. Once dismissed by British tabloids as a TV actress turned duchess, Meghan has transformed into a financial force, building an empire of content, commerce, and capital, without a penny from the sovereign grant since 2020. While her early earnings came from Suits, a reported $50,000 per episode, the real wealth arrived after she and Prince Harry stepped down from royal duties. Meghan's Spotify deal may have ended early, but her new podcast network with Lemonada Media, launched in 2025, has already secured global licensing deals worth over $20 million. She also signed a multi-book publishing contract, including her upcoming memoir with Penguin Random House, rumored to rival Harry's $20 million Spare advance. In addition, her Archetypes lifestyle brand, spanning ethically sourced skincare, wellness teas, and sustainable home decor, has exploded in value, recently closing a Series B funding round at a $130 million valuation, according to the Wall Street Journal. Meghan retains equity and creative control. A royal insider told The Telegraph, "They assumed she'd vanish from the spotlight. Instead, she built her own." With private wealth now eclipsing several working royals, Meghan didn't just rewrite the narrative, she monetized it masterfully. From Frogmore to Forbes, her journey is anything but traditional, and that's exactly the point. Princess Charlene's divorce rumors just made her richer than ever. Princess Charlene of Monaco has faced years of media scrutiny, but in 2026, it's not her health or royal appearances making headlines. It's the divorce rumors that have quietly padded her bank account. While neither Charlene nor Prince Albert II has confirmed a legal separation, Paris Match and Le Figaro report that a financial renegotiation of her living arrangements and public role has turned the former Olympic swimmer into a financial powerhouse. Sources close to the palace say she's now receiving an estimated €12 million per year as part of a living apart but united front arrangement brokered discreetly in 2023. Charlene now splits her time between Monaco and a lavish estate in Switzerland, purchased through a private trust and valued at over €18 million. Add to that a collection of custom-made Van Cleef and Arpels jewelry, gifted during state visits, and her personal fortune, previously estimated at around €15 million, has ballooned to nearly €60 million, according to Gala France. She's also launched a foundation-branded skincare line in partnership with a French biotech firm aimed at ocean-safe sun protection, quietly generating high six-figure royalties. Her team confirmed she retains 100% creative control and equity. While the palace remains tight-lipped, insiders suggest Charlene's newfound independence has been both emotional and financial. As Madame Figaro cheekily wrote, she may not have lost the title of happiest princess, but she's gained a portfolio that could rival a Monte Carlo casino. And in true Monegasque fashion, she's doing it all in couture. Thanks for watching Past Paradise, where Hollywood legends come home. If you enjoyed today's look into the topic, the royal family was stunned to find out Meghan Markle's net worth, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Got a star or story you want next? Drop it in the comments. Until then, keep the nostalgia alive only on Past Paradise.